Now we will stand and we will have Dexter and Graceland Temple, and they're from Crawl School. Aaron, could you lift the mic over for them, please? Thank you. This is one of the city council's investment in trying to get to our kids. So hope you don't object, but we'll have them in here from time to time, because if we don't do it, somebody else is going to try to take advantage and do it. We want to make sure they get on the right track. Okay, we're waiting for you to start the pledge. Put your hand across here, look at the flag, and just say the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good job, guys.
Well done.
And thank you, parents, for making sure they were here. Okay, and now I would also like to acknowledge, last week the country celebrated Cinco de Mayo. I would just like to, give a shout out there. We do acknowledge the cultures here also. And also, I would like to acknowledge one of the most precious things in the world, and that's a belated Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the belated mothers that are in the house. And my mother isn't here, but I was adopted by Miss Jet. Miss Jet, could you please stand and say Happy Mother's Day? Can she stand, sis? Give my mom a round of applause. Thank you, and now we will proceed with our agenda. Clerk, are you prepared?
I am ready.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Archibald?
Here.
Councilmember Haremza?
Here.
Councilmember Lamb?
Here.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Here.
Councilmember Payton?
Here. Councilmember
Pemberton?
Here.
Mayor Ashford?
Present. Council members, you have before you minutes of the regular meeting of April 27th, 2026. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Item D.
Proclamation observing the week of May 11th through the 17th, 2006 as Police Week and May 15th, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day will be presented to Police Chief Brian Kerrigan.
Okay, you would join me at the podium, Chief? A paragraph. I was telling my council member, I need to chop off some of this, but it's also important. So just bear with us here. How are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Okay, were you ready for this?
Ready as I'm good?
Oh, okay. This is the City of Port Huron. It's a proclamation. It says, whereas the Congress and President John F. Kennedy signed Public Law 87-726 in 1962, designating May 15th as Peace Officer Memorial Day and the week beginning on Sunday, in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas the law was amended by the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, Public Law 103-322, signed by President William Jefferson Clinton, directing that the flag of the United States be displayed at half-staff on all government buildings on May the 15th each year. And whereas the members of the Port Huron Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the city of Port Huron by unceasing providing a vital public service, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that they safeguard life and property by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the City of Port Huron Police Department will honor Detective Sergeant Roy Shapley, who was killed in the line of duty on October the 10th, 1930, and all officers who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty by wearing mourning bands for a 48-hour period beginning Friday, May 15th, 2026. Now therefore, I, Mayor Anita R. Ashford, call upon citizens of the City of Port Huron and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 10th through the 16th, 2026 as Police Week, with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all our citizens may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in so doing have established for themselves an invaluable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. And I further call upon the citizens of the City of Port Huron to observe Friday, May the 15th, 2026, as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. In witness, I do hereby set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the City of Port Huron to be affixed this 11th day of May 2026. Anita R. Ashford, Mayor, and to God be the glory.
I'm glad you had your dad.
I know, he said he's glad, but okay, y'all do better than that. The ultimate sacrifice, City of Port Huron, protect you. So you have a couple of words. Oh, he's trying to get out of here. He doesn't like to.
You're gonna keep me up here.
I'm not going to keep you up here because you know what? When somebody gives somebody, they want to know that you're thankful, you're grateful. It's okay. Your mom, your
No, Mayor and
yeah.
Council and City
Yeah.
Manager, we thank you for the confidence in our department to protect the city and do our jobs, and the support you have given us throughout the years. So we really appreciate it.
And we'll keep it going. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we are at our public hearings, but before we open the public hearings, I'd just like to explain that I know a lot of times there are first comers in here and you mix our public hearings up with our public comment. So this is specifically for items under the public hearing addressing a certain topic, so you won't get mixed up. So this is public hearing only. We have 4, and so I will have the clerk read the first public hearing.
To hear comments on the proposed capital improvement program for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026.
Public hearing number 1 is open. Do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address public hearing number 1? Hearing and seeing none. Public hearing number 1 closed. Number 2.
To hear comments on the proposed 2026-27 budget for the City of Port Huron.
Public hearing number 2 is now open.
Excuse me if you will, please, I have some issues, I hope to catch up. But I'd like to comment tonight on the public budget phenomenally that I basically tried to work on myself. And what I've read in the Port Huron City budget for this coming year, and because I don't know what you guys done since 4:30 this afternoon, but forgetting 4:30 this afternoon, let's look at the problem here. First off, I see in the budget we're defunding the city council by $70,000. The city manager's position for his staff and stuff is $99,000 and a wage increase of $15,000. The city's clerk office under line item budget is a plus $10,000. Personnel officer for the city of Port Huron, plus $12,000. The treasurer for the city of Port Huron, $8,000. Public Safety Police Chief, $12,000. Public Safety Fire Chief, $13,000. These are all raises, for individual raises. Public Light Wages, $27,000 up. Public Parks, $21,000. Code Enforcement, $41,000. Debt, $571,000, and it equals out to $1,090,000. I guess what discovered this thing with me is I'm an elderly person like a lot of you here, and we're on fixed incomes and stuff. And I know that, if you look back at last year and stuff, a lot of us were forced to take 2.7% and 2.8% for wages, for our pensions and things like that. But am I disturbing you?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Excuse me. I didn't appreciate that. But anyways, the thing that stands out the most is, with the general public, whether you're on Social Security or Medicare or whatever, we're subject to this thing here. But I thought it wasn't even marvelous. It was kind of a degrading thing when we said that the budget had no tax increase, but we're giving everybody that works for the city of Port Huron at least 3% wage increases, or if not more. I looked at page 77 and 78 for the line item budget stuff. And I think as we look forward in the next 5 years, if we don't do something, we're going to have a lot more people that want to dig a bigger ditch and they want to get on a boat and get the hell out of here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Okay. Do we have anyone else wishing to address public hearing number 2? You usually go 1, 2, 3, but I could see there's nobody coming up, so public hearing number 2 closed. Public hearing number 3.
To hear comments on the proposed budget for the Port Huron Downtown Development Authority for fiscal year 2026-27.
Public hearing number 3 is now open. Is there anyone wishing to address public hearing number 3? Seeing no one come forth, public hearing number 3 is closed. Number 4.
To hear comments on the Brownfield plan for the feed building project for 1635 Poplar Street. Following the hearing, council will consider a resolution to approve the plan.
Public hearing number 4 open. Do we have anyone in the auditorium wishing to address public hearing number 4? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Connor Zook. I'm a Brownfield consultant with Triterra. I prepared the Brownfield plan in front of you. I'm here on behalf of the developer, and I hope to answer any outstanding questions you may have tonight. A brief overview of the plan. It's a redevelopment or rehabilitation of the feed building. Total capital investment into the property is estimated at about $6.8 million, of which we hope to capture about $1.4 million in tax increment revenue over a 19-year period. Any questions?
We're here to listen.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there anyone else here? Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Seymour. I am the chair of the Port Huron Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. On April 16th, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority met to hear the proposal from the developers on the feed building and this plan. After a good presentation and questions, the Brownfield Authority approved approved the plan to go up to the City Council for your final approval. We like this plan. We like that it's a redevelopment of an obsolete building, bringing 18 new housing units to the City of Port Huron, which is needed. We also congratulate the City of Port Huron for using this economic development tool to provide for the developer to help them make this project a reality. We hope that the City Council will look favorably upon this, this proposal as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Is there anyone else wishing to address the... Don.
Brian Farquhar, 19th Avenue. this is exactly what we've been asking you guys for, or something to approve along these lines to help with the housing situation in the city of Port Huron. I personally would have liked to see the rent down a little higher than the 1,000 to 1,300, but also I do understand that that is pretty on par with, you know, the rental rates, if not the lower end of the rental rates right now. And in the future, you know, by the time this actually gets, the development happens and whatnot, cost of living is only going to go up. So if they can, you know, stick to that price point, this is definitely a good deal as far as that goes. A little history as I was thinking on my way in, 20, 30 years ago, the city of Port Huron really missed out on a growth opportunity that happened. And I was thinking about why did we miss out? And a lot of it came down to basically we didn't have the land, and we don't have the land for big business in the city of Port Huron, right? So if we want to survive and thrive and continue to go, we're gonna have to take these smaller defunct buildings that haven't been doing much as far as producing taxes or any of the rest of it for the city, put some housing units in it and actually make them beneficial. This actual lot is the perfect place for it. You've got two little small stores that have been struggling recently that are right there that'll get business off of it. There's a park directly across the street. Hopefully when this does go in, we think about adding a little, you know, crosswalk with maybe a button for the kids to cross to get across to the park that do live there and whatnot. But like, those are things to, you know, kind of think of. We missed the tax base with Meijer and Walmart and the rest of them 20, 30 years ago, right? We didn't have the land, we didn't have the space. Fort Gratiot and Port Huron Township, they took that money from us, and look how well they're doing right now. Nobody to say anything about, you know, anything else, but it would have been really nice to have the vacant acreage and put a Walmart in and have big business. And that's the other thing. We have virtually no big business other than maybe McLaren Hospital or the hospitals in the city of Port Huron, because a definition of a small business is 500 or less employees. Even the city of Port Huron's a small business at the end of it all. You know, last I checked. So we got to make sure that works, and we got to make it work with us. This is exactly what we've been asking for. So let's approve this one and get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. He signed it?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, this is.
This is just about the building. Or, I'm not sure, I'm just kind of learning about it in here. You guys are building to approve, like apartment buildings for living in the city. I'm all for that, great. I just have an idea, since you guys are talking about building, and did he say the developer, or the guy that works for the developer in here? A lot of this is towards him, because he's gonna be doing it, but it's something for the people in the city to think about too. A building material. Very awesome building material. I've been thinking about it. You guys should look it up. It's, there's hempcrete and then aircrete. And I would mix the two together as a material as hemp aircrete. Now you got a material that I can make a big, huge block like this big and throw it in the river and it'll float. The thing will float. It's super light, but it's cement. But it gets harder and harder and harder as the years go on. It's not like regular concrete that like gets old and crumbles. The older this gets, the harder it gets, the more it cures. And when you put the hemp in it, hemp is, and just like regular cellulose wood, has interesting properties by weight. They're stronger than steel. However, they burn and they combust, but when you put them in with the hemp aircrete, it won't burn. It doesn't combust, no matter, you can watch tests where they like build these buildings, you dump gasoline all over them and the building will not fall down or combust. Now you're talking to somebody that had their house just burned down by one little small fire, which we make all our buildings. We're so vulnerable here, the way we build our buildings. All our houses have vinyl siding on them. You stick a little like hand torch. Any person that's just mad at you, crazy, whatever, can just walk by your building and stick a frickin' torch on it and boom, the whole thing goes up in like 2 seconds. If we built all our buildings out of this hemp aircrete and kept going up, they would last forever, they would be stronger, they would be lighter. I'm thinking about all the applications for this. You could make ships out of it that you could blow to pieces and wouldn't
Excuse me.
sink, but hemp aircrete.
Okay.
So for your buildings and our buildings around here, hemp aircrete, you should look it up, and they have people that are like, the construction of the material where you could like pour it and everything, but you can buy it and then start implementing it, I think, into the city for like building structures. But we would be very well be like, if we built out of this material, like a lot stronger, a lot heavier duty, protecting ourselves against all kinds of problems.
Okay, point
So-
well taken. Thank you so much, sir, for your input. Is there anyone else wishing to address the council this evening? Is there anyone on this public hearing? We're on a public hearing. Okay. Seeing none, I declare public hearing number 4 closed. And we're, at this point, we're going to take a motion after this one because it does take action to complete this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion to,
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Any discussion on this motion?
Madam Mayor and Council, I would just like to thank Kyle, the developer here. This is now his second development in addition to numerous businesses that he owns in town. He's done the apartment building on 7th and Union, extraordinary project there. Done an excellent job in the business, already a well-known established business person in town. He did great work attracting the MEDC to this project and getting MEDC funding at the table, which is very rare. He did numerous site visits there. It's an incredible project. It'll buttress well next to Optimus Park and the amount of redevelopment of that park there as well, and its walkability to downtown. So as someone mentioned, this is exactly what we've been hoping to get. So thank you for your continued investment into our community. Thank you for getting the MEDC to the table, and this will be considered our share of the deal is to approve this brownfield. So as part of our MEDC commitment letter, we would have a local share in this as well, and so that's going along with it. So.
And I agree with the city manager. I think that I had some knowledge that this is the right thing to do, is for the city, and this is what we need for the growth. So anybody else have anything else they want to share before we take the vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Motion carried. Item F.
So Linda, you're our first speaker tonight.
And Linda, while you're on your way up here, this is the portion where our city residents and city business owners who signed up by calling their name, which the clerk just did. And I just wanted to remind you that the speakers are allotted 1 4-minute opportunity to make their comments.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm Linda Pruitt. I live on 2502 Armour Street. I've been there for 28 years. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Until recently, when my property, I can see the river. It faces the old Dunn paper mill, which is bought by the Crown Enterprise Corporation that's based in Sterling Heights. So several of our neighbors are concerned about what's going on at that property. The recent addition of fencing was, okay until they put black sheathing tarp all over it. So you can't see the water anymore. It's kind of sad. Besides that, it decreases our property value, looks horrible. And there's talk of, in the future, possibly some kind of aggregate or gravel there, like I don't know, it's a gravel pit or what. Trucks coming in, possibly a dock with ships, it's all rumors really. But we're concerned because we want to know what's going on and how it's going to impact the neighborhood and the environment, the water, the people. it was fairly peaceful after the mill closed for the last 4 or 5 years, and I kind of like it now, but if it's going to go back to that, it doesn't sound very good. My other neighbors here, Joan Fleet, and her husband wrote something. Could I read it for him? Because she,
No, ma'am,
does she have to read it?
you have 4 minutes. Now you have 2 minutes and 14. Excuse me,
Okay.
we don't have interchange.
That's okay.
You're addressing the council.
Yeah, I can't read it because I don't have it in my hand. Anyway, he basically was talking about the fact that the same people that own the Ambassador Bridge, you know, they have ties with this company, Crown Enterprises, and he doesn't trust them. And he said, you know, maybe you look up some information about how shady their deals were, and he's really concerned about that. And it's obviously blocking his view too, and lots of people in that neighborhood, so. Yeah, and we are concerned about, you know, the possibility of this aggregate gravel pit. I don't even know what it's gonna be. So what's gonna happen to that property? That's what we'd like to know. Thank you.
We will get that letter afterwards and make sure, give it to the clerk.
Joan is signed up to speak next.
Oh, Joan, you're
Yes.
gonna, oh, she's gonna say, I thought she said she couldn't speak.
She has it on her iPad. Did she email it to you?
That's what I was just getting ready to suggest, but the clerk told me, she said she wanted to speak.
So I do have you signed up, Joan, if you wanted to come down and read it?
It won't let me read it on my iPad.
Okay.
And I will just speak from here. I'm hearing
Ma'am,
It's
my
difficult.
neighbors.
oh, you got, okay, you're okay.
No.
We can hear you just fine.
We can hear you. Okay, you're
I'm here
fine.
to support because we live directly across from Dunn Paper. My husband worked there his whole entire life, and we no longer can see out into the river.
Okay.
We were guaranteed that we would never block our view, and the black paper totally restricts us from seeing anything into the lake. And that's not acceptable to my husband and myself and our neighbors. We can't see it. And so we're looking at a black tart into nothing, but a black tart of paper that's all along our buildings, and it's all along, and it's very, very offensive to the city. And the Maroon family have a litigation against in Detroit, and the very little bit that they pay for Dunn Paper is not even acceptable. It's less than $1 million, and they got that, and they want to build a stone dock that's going to literally have the ships start at the Coast Guard, and Canada doesn't have to pay. They're ruining half of Canada's profitability also. That's all I have to say. Thank you for letting me address it from this point, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for speaking.
So F. Maxwell?
Hello there, my name's Florian Maxwell. I did put F because that's a bit of a hard name to pronounce. And before I get into this, I would just like to address that I understand the need for things like speed limits on bikes and pedestrian areas. I understand the need for there to be some restrictions. However, my wife is a disabled veteran. She cannot afford a car. She has a motorized tricycle because walking is so hard for her because of a pinched nerve that causes her to black out. And I, myself, as a non-motorized bike rider, have been swerved at by cars. I have been verbally accosted. You ever ride down the street and you hear, "Hey, retard, the sidewalk's over there." That's not a fun thing to have happen to you. I've had people jump in front of me on sidewalks to try and divert me into the grass. I've had every single direction. That's not where you're supposed to go. That's not where you're supposed to go. And that's as a non-motorized bicycle rider. Now, my wife generally stays on the roads, both to respect pedestrians, but also because, let's be honest, these sidewalks are unbearable to even walk on most of the time, especially in lower income areas. such as where we live. Not that our roads are much better when they're either completely destroyed or under construction all the time for half a year. The only time she uses the sidewalk is on super busy streets like 24th Street, where people have ran her off the road, where drivers have been so negligent in driving that she had to swerve to avoid them, sending her toppling to the curb with her bike on top of her. Once again, a disabled veteran. There are better solutions to safety of walking pedestrians than an outright ban that would put low-income members of our community at risk. Solutions easily picked up by more hospitable, social-focused, and cultured cities. These wondrous solutions? Bike lanes. I'm sure you've heard of them. Thank you. Hope you will have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Craig?
All right, good evening. I noticed that we were going to do something with the parade company, but there's no picture. I'd really like to see the picture, maybe if it could be included. You know what I'm talking about, $30,000 thing anyhow. As far as the special meeting is concerned, they don't care that you're a disabled veteran here. They don't care if you can't hear. They don't care if you can hear them. In fact, I'm sorry I couldn't hear the lady earlier because they think that everyone can hear. No, you can't fucking hear. So, not everyone can hear. Keep that in mind. Why don't you try those headphones on? And tell me how it feels when that guy coughs and you snizzle and it's in your ear. Mute buttons, we talked about them. Having adjustments happen, we've talked about them, but you want to go ahead and refuse ADA because you care about these veterans in these towns, don't you? No, you don't give a shit. Pine Grove pilot program, once again, no enforcement going on there. You need to get more stuff going on there. I sat in there for I don't know, about an hour and a half today, enjoying being retired, and a lot of boomers going through there way too fast. Pocket park design, is that the design that we're going to have going forward for these maritime ideas? Because frankly, it looks like the bones of what do they have, those container homes? Kind of like the one in Fort Gratiot across from Northern. If that's the style, it doesn't look very maritime. Jim's downtown transfer center has the idea of a sail, kind of looks like a ship in some ways. Take some advice, try that. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Brian?
Brian Farquhar, 19th Avenue. You guys got the pleasure of last month of not having to put up with me for any 4 minutes, so it's twice tonight to make up for it. I guess I'm a bit confused on the ordinance, the new ordinance that's being passed tonight, not the second reading one, but the first reading one. And I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I told them I was going to stand up here and speak in support of it. But I've kind of changed my tune slightly because I've read in a little further and the rest of it. I think a ban on city sidewalks through downtown on Main Street might be feasible. But to do a complete ban all the way across the board, basically what we're doing is we're trading one life for another. And that's not an acceptable solution. We're saying that the people that are walking out of these businesses downtown that are almost being hit by some of these reckless bike riders who, unfortunately, I know I'm not allowed to turn around, Mayor, but I didn't see any of those reckless bike riders come in this evening. But there is. I've come out of Senior Tequilas. I've come out of Elite Feed. I've come out of the Smoke on the Water. I've come out of Elite Treats. I've come out of the Motor City Gym, or Motor City MMA Gym down there. I've come out of the grocery store. I've almost been run over numerous times by people, okay? But to say that me being hit by a bicycle is worse than the guy on the bicycle that's down in a neighborhood somewhere that now is being forced onto one of these busier streets, let's say Lapeer, which already has terrible construction with the new, 3 times I've been down Lapeer and I've seen people hit the curb because they're not paying attention to the fact that that road is going to slim down. And if you don't believe me, just drive up there and look at the black marks on the nice white curb that are from people's tires. I'm surprised they're not laying there. But if you take people off the sidewalk there, they're going to get hit by a damn car. I'd rather be hit by a bike than a car. And that was the line that resoluted and got me at the end of it all. It's really going to suck when somebody hits me with a bike because, well, we already know I have a temper and it's not going to bode well. But for somebody else, it, might be a different story. I don't know. I think, and we already have, there's already kind of a law in play in the state of Michigan that says bicycles and the rest of it aren't supposed to be in certain areas. If we just enforce some of those in the areas we have issues, we could solve all this without creating a whole new rule and putting other people in danger, I guess. So I hope we just shoot this all the way down and we come back to the table and we redraw it up the way that it actually makes a little more sense than now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Okay, thank you.
Ken?
Good evening again. Ken Harris, 1521 Wells Street, Port Huron, Michigan. Let me draw your attention. I was out doing my usual walk in the neighborhoods the other day and stuff, and I just happened to look at 1000 block on 17th Street. I reported a sewer break or sanitary water, clean water break a year ago in April. It's not fixed yet. But on top of that, now we have an area that's at 17th and Jenks Street and 17th and Gillette Street, where we had 2 water mains break this winter or late winter and stuff like that, and they're unattended. And on top of this, the Roosevelt neighborhood, I don't know what's happened, it's kind of going to revitalization without warning and stuff. And the subcontractor, I think their company's name is Miller, have come in and done new gas mains for the people that live in these streets back there, but they haven't cleaned up. At 19th and Pine Street, they use this as a washout for their concrete trucks and stuff. And if you get out there and just take a look, I think the people that lived there and myself, we thought they were going to do a great job because they were quick. As soon as the weather turned bad, they got the concrete in, but they haven't done nothing since then. And it looks like crap, and it's not, it's dangerous too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nicholas?
Hello, my name is Nick. I am still homeless in the Port Huron area. Apologies for missing last week's meeting, but I wanted to make just a correction / clarification on something I said previously when I discussed my encounter with the St. Clair sheriffs. The whole misgender thing was basically the deputy asked me what's going on. I said, oh, I'm just hanging out here with my partner on their day off, which blah, blah, blah. He responded with, oh, so you're here hanging out with your girlfriend, to which I immediately responded, that's not what I said, but sometimes I mistakenly call the other person with the deputy a partner, but so the other, which, added to the confusion, but the other deputy is the one that caught that and he said partner. Then was when the officer asked for my ID, to which I refused because there was no reason to. I asked if I was detained, because if you're not being detained, this conversation is consensual. You can end it at any time. You can walk away. That's, consensual. The officer was probably a little frustrated because he couldn't ask me out of the motorhome, which is something called Pennsylvania versus MIMS. And basically when the officer says, oh, you're in a vehicle, they can quote Pennsylvania versus MIMS like, the back of their hand. But a lot of times they can't talk about, or they don't bring up, the prerequisites and the limitations of Pennsylvania versus MIMS, which is that you only can be asked out of the vehicle if it's for officer safety, They cannot search your vehicle, they can only look in the immediate passenger area, stuff like that. When I refused to identify, the deputy then stated, oh, once you pull out onto the road, then I'll just pull you over anyways, get your ID, and this is what's known as a pretextual stop. And pretextual stops aren't in of themselves illegal, but if the whole intention of pulling you over was just to get you the search of the vehicle, then that's not legal. And this is what's known as fruit of the poisonous tree. That's kind of a fun term that is actually a legitimate colloquial term, and that just means that if the stop is illegal, the search is legal, everything they find is inadmissible. So the reason why I believe that there was no call for trespass was after I pretty much gave the deputy the kind of the hard like no, I said, okay, well, I gotta get ready to leave. I'm being trespassed. And he's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. You can stay. If someone else calls, they'll stay. And the whole reason you're there for a trespass is that someone wants you to leave. So basically, there was no trespass call to begin with. So even if the officer went and said, hey, Big Lots manager, trespass this guy, we don't like him, which is usually called, that's called soliciting a trespass, which also isn't legal. And these are kind of things that, unfortunately, the burden is on us citizens now to know these things. But unfortunately, this is everything. These is also things that you guys should know as lawmakers as well. There's some other really interesting ones. Graham factors. So here's the home review. Does everyone know not graham crackers, Graham factors? Plainview Doctrine, Tennessee versus Gardner. That one involves lethal force. These are things that everyone should know as lawmakers. So if none of that rings a bell, you kind of got a little homework to do, because these are what costs money for the city through lawsuits and such. First Amendment, no. Fourth, fifth.
Your time is up. Thank you, sir, for your comments.
Randall?
Randall Redlouse. I came in here, talk about a bunch of things. Definitely, what they were talking about with the bike path, I had no idea that was up. I would have like stood up and been like, no way. Bike paths, sidewalks, that's where everybody should ride their bike. I'm not riding my bike on the road. I don't care if you do put an ordinance in. I'm gonna ride it on the road and give you the middle finger, because I'm not putting my life in safety because you're stupid. And I also don't follow the stupid laws that say you're supposed to ride with traffic. I wanna see if a car's coming at me and gonna hit me. I'm not gonna let one come up behind me. So I'm not following that stupid law either. And yeah, I'm not, where do you want people to ride their bikes in downtown? On the road? That's crazy. I'm not gonna do it. That's stupid. Sue you for trying to put in an ordinance, a stupid ordinance like that puts human lives in jeopardy. People don't get run over by bikes. They get run over by cars. Now, anyway, I'm here, maybe it's because your guys' brains are jammed up with fluoride and everything that's in the tap water, but I came up here to show you I distill my water.
Excuse me, sir, just address the council.
Just the council?
The council, that's why you're here. We're the
Okay,
council.
yeah, okay. I wanted to show you, I'm gonna pass this around.
No, sir, no, just stay right there.
All right, well, this comes out of my water distiller. This is about a couple 100 gallons of water, that's it. And it's only like half of the stuff that's in there, because this is just the stuff that gets stuck on the sides of my water distiller. Everybody should go out and buy a water distiller, but this is like the cement that's in the water. I shouldn't have to tell you that fluoride in the water is rat poison, and what's going on with that. RFK was supposed to get it taken out, and they were supposed to do it federally, but the deep state started doing legal blocks on the water fluoridization. But this isn't just fluoride, this is all kinds of other stuff, so I would, even if you guys took it out, I would distill it. But when you take a shower, you absorb 100% of all of this through your skin. And when you shower, you can easily use 100 gallons of water, if not more. So like all of this on you in the shower, when you drink it, you only absorb about 50% of it through your gut. And then also, just talking about right now, we're gonna be having problems with ticks and then this new hantavirus that they say has got spread. I'm not following any UN directives, any plans like masking up, like the COVID crap. I'm like done with it. And they're letting out new tick-borne illnesses. Bill Gates, I don't know why our sheriff hasn't arrested, put out warrants for Bill Gates, Fauci, Peter Hotez. They've got like 65 more viruses in a lab that they made in a lab here in America, and they're threatening us with the viruses. They've already let out this new tick-borne illness. Lyme's disease is really weaponized syphilis, made in a lab. And the best way to defeat that is this new form. It'll make you get a beef allergy. It's called alpha-gal. It carries those, but you won't be able to eat beef. You'll get like really sick and nauseous and might die. But people have been finding tick boxes all over North America just full of these ticks. But if you get bit by one of these ticks, how they hide in your blood is they wrap themselves in a protein, so they hide as a protein in your blood. So if you take proteolytic enzymes, protein digestive enzymes, which you should take anyway because it helps free up all the gum proteins in your lymphatic system.
Your time is up, sir. Thank you very much for your comments.
Amanda?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I wanted to talk about the bike legislation. I feel as though we're focusing on the wrong thing. I think that it's really short-sighted for us to put laws in place when our infrastructure is so inadequate. A cost-effective option is biking, given that over 20% of the city lives below the poverty level and gas is at $4 a gallon right now and climbing. It's a safe alternative for folks with medical needs, those who can't afford a car, and those that can't get a license for a variety of reasons. And I think that this legislation will discourage the use of bicycles. It's going to make it unsafe. It's going to make it unsafe whether it's e-bikes or whether it's regular bikes, and I think we really need to focus on the bike infrastructure before we start putting things like this into place. Bike and pedestrian crashes account for only 1% of the total crashes in St. Clair County, but they're responsible for 12% of fatalities and 10% of serious injuries. This is not due to speeding e-bikes, but rather speeding cars. We're putting the onus of the harmed parties we're making people responsible for their own harm, basically, by doing this. We're giving them a law that they have to follow to keep them safe, when really it's speeding cars that's the problem. I propose that we beef up the infrastructure, then visit this. Something that I saw as I was looking into this. It's called SPRINT. It's an acronym for Speed, Protected Bike Lanes, Relocate the Bike Lanes, Intersection, Network Connections, and Trusting the Data. We're doing great with the road diet. That's going to be something that's going to help with the speeds as well as the speed bumps that we've put in. I think that we're doing things there. I think that protected bike lanes are something that's an area of opportunity for you in the city. We barely have the lanes painted, let alone any sort of barriers in place. And I feel like putting those in place before doing this sort of legislation would just be a common sense move. Relocating, again, props to the city for the road diet. Now let's keep this going because I feel as though a lot of our plans are recreational based. And with 20% of the city living in poverty, this isn't just a recreational thing. This is people getting to work. This is people getting to the grocery store. So the intersections, I think that it was fabulous. It was mentioned last time that we're going to be painting those intersections. That's going to slow the cars down because we know that the kids helped paint them, you know? And I think that that's going to be, that's something that's also, we're doing well. But then the N is networking connections. We need to connect the bike lanes throughout the city to one another, from homes to work to grocery stores. We need to make it so that the bikes are utilized throughout the city and not just in a couple small areas. And then trusting the data. I don't think that this is data-driven. Looking at the legislation, it doesn't look like the people who have looked into it have really looked into the types of e-bikes that there are. There are some e-bikes that can't even go above the speed limit that you've set. You know, there's 3 different speeds and things like that. I think that taking this back to the drawing board, doing some more changes, and then proposing something like this just makes a lot more logical sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jim?
Sorry, I'm kidding. Jim Soto, Lakeview Avenue, and wonderful comments earlier. I cannot support this ordinance banning motorized use of e-bikes on sidewalks citywide, and nor will I support a restricted view where it's just banned from downtown only or something like that, because as you read in your packet last week, and as Andy published just a little while ago, you know that the Huron Avenue bike lanes have been pushed back a year, another year. So we all have to wait, us people on bikes have to wait another year. But I want to mention to you, and I want to make this a couple things clear. First, I am the first person to say that sidewalks are not bike infrastructure. They are not. And in a perfect city, in a perfect world, people would not be riding their bikes on a sidewalk, right? We would have separated bike infrastructure that would physically separate people, that would keep people safe. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is, why do people ride their bike on the sidewalk? Because they are scared. They are looking for safety. And that's why they're there, right? Think about what bike infrastructure we have in the city, and there's very little. There's practically none. There's no separated bike lanes, right? There is the path along the canal. That's great. It's wonderful. It's a nice little ride, but how do you get there? Do you take the Gratiot Avenue bike lanes? Do you ride up Stone Street? What do you do? If you want to get to a grocery store, how do you get there? Right? People are scared. They don't want to ride in the street. They ride on the sidewalk. Now, I understand that the ordinance says, hey, look, you can still use your bike, just have the motor off. I hear you, but that still introduces an ambiguity, and it will push people onto the sidewalk. Because in the public, it gets out there, we're going to get screamed at, get off the sidewalk. And then when I'm in the road, I get yelled at, get on the sidewalk. And it's like no win here, right? It is just no win. Now, I want to stress to you that we need a citywide network of safe, separated bike infrastructure. One of your goals for this fiscal year is to have the administration bring you some recommendations for high crash areas regarding people walking and people on bikes. I ask that you have the administration expedite that. Then once it's expedited, you actually have your planning department, your engineering department, put forward a plan for a separated network of separated bike infrastructure. We don't have a plan. There's not even one in the master plan. And it's important to know that the second most common request in the data, thank you Cindy for the FOIA, right, of the master plan, all of the feedback, the second most requested the infrastructure change was bike infrastructure. Now I admit I goosed the numbers a little bit because I submitted twice. But you can just erase one, right? We, the people, are looking for it. And we gave you that data. Use it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next.
Betty? You're good? Okay. That is our last speaker.
That's our last visit. Thank you all so very much for all those who came forth. And by the way, when I do the gavel, when you clap, you know, when you clap every time, we have to wait, and we're trying to keep the meeting going to have that flow. So, item number, where are we? G.
He's not here,
Oh, he's
so-
not back, so let's skip that. Item H. We are at our consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Roll call?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. We have 6 items on our consent agenda, and 5 of those are resolutions. I'll start with resolution number 3, and that is approving the agreement with the Parade Company in the amount of $38,000. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah. Oh, number 4. Okay. Number 4, resolution. Authorizing an employee of the Information Technology Department to purchase 11 months of generic service credit from MERS at the employer's expense to be eligible to retire June 1st, 2026 as part of the Servants Incentive Program. Resolution number 5, confirming and approving single lot assessments for fees or charges for foreclosed, vacant, and abandoned properties. Resolution number 6, confirming and approving single lot assessments for fines, assessments, and/or the cost of removing blighting factors and/or cause of blight, as well as the abatement of nuisances. Resolution number 7, approving the submission of a grant application in the amount of $50,000 to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program for the purpose of inventory management, community education, tree planting, and maintenance within public spaces, including public parks and along the public right-of-way. Under ordinance, we have 1. Ordinance number 26-002, second reading and enactment. An ordinance to amend Chapter 48 Utilities, Article 4, Water and Sewer Service Charges of the Port Huron Code of Ordinance for the purpose of adding Section 48-155C, sewer readiness to serve and commodity charges for customers who possesses a valid national pollutant discharge elimination system permit. That is your consent agenda. Now we will go back to from the city manager. 1.
Accepting the bid from Raymond Excavating in the amount of $1,948,313 for the 10th Street reconstruction from Lapeer Avenue to the Black River project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak and supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
This will also include not only from the 10th Street Bridge to Lapeer, but it will go through that intersection and replace the entire intersection. So I think most could argue that's probably the worst intersection in the city.
Mm-hmm.
You get an Apollo badge if you can make it over it. So it will include all of that being reconstructed as well.
Okay, great. Okay, any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Under item J,
Authorizing 14 payments.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by, is it Councilmember Lamb?
Yep.
Councilmember Lamb is supported by Councilmember Mosrak. Okay, let's start looking at y'all. Y'all don't look alike, but y'all begin to sound alike. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution number 2.
Approving the second addendum to the agreement with St. Clair County for equipment and network responsibilities as a result of connecting to the County of St. Clair network.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, this is a housekeeping measure, just extending what they're already doing and also allowing them bills quarterly for it.
Okay. Good. So no more discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution number 3.
Approving the agreement with the parade company in the amount of $38,000 to construct a Port Huron Blue Water Bridge float.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak, supported by
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, I have a brief presentation for you on this. We are home to the International Day Parade, part of our Blue Water Fest. It is a historic parade, one of the largest parades in the region. And I'm a history buff, so I saw these photos a couple of years ago. I had no idea where these photos went, but I reached out to local historian Andrew Kircher, who was able to find them in all of about 4.5 minutes of looking, so apparently he knows where they were. But if you go back to, this is from 1949, this is the official City of Port Huron float. Nice welcome to the City of Port Huron. And it got me thinking about how our floats used to be really, really impressive in the International Day Parade. We have some really good floats now. But the city always had an official city float. And so we thought, where could we go to get some ideas? And so Councilmember Peyton and I and the DDA Director Lisa DeLong got in the car and we drove down to the Detroit Parade Company. If you've never been to the Detroit Parade Company, it can only be explained as a modern-day Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It is one of the wildest things I think we've ever walked through. It was cool. The big heads were there, and every single thing you see in the Thanksgiving Day Parade you would see put in downtown Detroit. All their floats are there. And we just wanted to go and see if we could buy some old float someplace and make it a city parade. And while we were there, we actually had Conrad there on the phone, because apparently he has connections there. And Councilmember Peyton and I and Lisa and I discovered that not only could you buy an older float, but they could do one better. They build custom floats. They build custom floats for sponsors and community groups all across the region. And so I just think this is cool. Now, it would not be appropriate to use taxpayer money to build a parade float, although worthy and noble is the cause. So what I am proposing is, this is what the Detroit Parade Company and their artists want to build for us. Now, it's much larger than this picture, but as you can see, it has the statues in front of McMorran. It has McMorran, the famous sun. It has the bridge. It has the Huron lightship. It has our water. It has the lighthouse. It has the old lighthouse grounds there. They have designed this float, which they will build, and it's not just like a float made out of wood. It's made out of foam and custom stuff. That bridge is structurally capable of holding 7 to 9 people. Where can we find 7 individuals to ride that float? Oh, wait, I have an idea. The mayor and council can ride on the bridge in our annual float, just like we used to do back in the day. The mayor and council used to ride in the float. So this is a one-time expense. We will raise private dollars to pay for it. Your tax money is not going to build a float. I have donors who want to help fund this. They believe it's very important that the city is well represented. But we also want to elevate the bar for floats in our International Day Parade of what a float should look like. Oh, there's Mayor Ashford right there on top of it. And they can fit 6 more people up there like that. And so we can fit a ton of people up there, and it will be used every single year. Now, there's also lighting features, because we want to worry about the Santa Parade. That's at night. So it will be lit with spotlights and lights, and so at night it will be really cool at the Christmas parade as well. So this, again, I'm looking for authorization to begin essentially, if I give them authorization to start building it, they can get it to us by this year's parade, and I will have the funding. I'm a good chunk of the way there. I will have all the funding in place for the final invoice. But it is a one-off novelty item that will be with us for, they say it can last years and years and years. We got to see some of their floats that they use all over, that they redo every year, and they're impressively built. Councilmember Payton, do you want to say anything about your trip to Willy Wonka's, it was a fun day.
I was happy to see Bob Seeger's head out there, so.
I did see Bob Seeger's head out there. We have talked to him as well. Some of the big famous heads you see in the Thanksgiving Day Parade, they're actually going to loan us to bring up to Port Huron to have in our parade. They also will send people to wear them because we did try a few on, and comfortable is not the word for them. So, yes, and we have a famous clown here as well.
Well, yeah, I was a big head, then got promoted to a clown, by the way. But maybe I'll let you.
They did show us your picture there. But the team of artists they have, the quality builder you, this is going to be something special for our community that we can use year after year in all the different parades. And I think if you look at the history that their art team incorporated, we literally said we wanted a float that showed Port Huron. I think we were pretty vague about it, right? I mean, I don't. Yeah, they came up with this on their own. They researched Port Huron, looked at what our main assets were, and they came up with this on their own. And I think it's dynamite. So it's a novelty item, no taxpayer money. God willing, it will be here by this year's Blue Water Festival Parade. And we can fit, as you can see, 7 to 9 more people like that up there. So it's built Ford tough.
Oh, excuse me, we don't have any comments coming out of the audience, huh?
Mayor Ashford?
Yes.
I do have a question. According to the resolution, it says grant funding and private donations.
Yes, we have some funds in the account at the Community Foundation that may be able to be used on this, so I would actually apply for a grant to them as well.
Okay. And thought I read, did we need to put a down payment on this?
Yes,
Was
we will have that
already-
down payment. Yep.
Oh, because I thought it read May 6th.
Yep, we need a down payment so they can begin construction.
So we haven't given them the down payment yet?
No, I need authorization for that.
Okay.
That's all right. That's what you're here for, to ask questions.
Okay.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
You indicated you've raised part of the funds, not all of the funds?
Yeah, I have verbal commitments from several donors, and I am absolutely confident that this will be funded within about 2 weeks.
And what happens if we don't raise the balance after we approve it and they start construction?
Well, then I'll write a check myself.
Fair enough.
I'll help.
Now I gotta raise the money.
No? I got $5.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, thank you for that presentation.
I will say, whether I write the full amount or some of it, the Freed family will be donating to this cause as well. I think it's that important.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no more questions, and we will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
No.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
You know, I was a no on this, but since, some about history, it kind of seals the deal. We've been there, we've done that. And then I have to think about what we as a council have been doing and everything. Sometimes it sends missed messages, and I know the parade is for the kids, and the most telling part for me is that the taxpayers' money not going towards this. That's the key. If I don't have to pay for something, you want to do that, or we want to do that as a governing body, then go for it. And if you run out of money, you just make sure you have your checkbook ready. That's what I'm saying.
I
agree. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I want to see it if it don't happen. So there's no way that, the taxpayers, because we are, we're your leaders, and it's something about leadership that we have to step back and let others lift and empower, But in this case, like I said, let me stop right there, and I will vote yes on this. Okay.
Ready for ordinance number?
Yep, ordinance number, we're at our ordinance now, and we have one ordinance that is before us. And if the clerk will read that.
First reading, an ordinance to amend Chapter 42, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 1 in general of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances to provide requirements for bicycles on sidewalks.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton. Is there a second?
Support.
Supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
Mayor Ashford.
Excuse me, is there a discussion?
Mayor Ashford, please. I'm going to recommend and suggest that we table this item for now. I think all of us have heard several comments on both sides and very legitimate arguments. I don't think we have enough information right now or defined the areas that we're going to, so I'm going to make the recommendation that we table this till we can get some more information and hear from some more people and then make some decisions on this.
Mayor Ashford, before we take that, if we table it, it has to come back in 2 weeks. So I'd like to override that and make a motion after discussion that we refer this back to city administration.
Oh, okay.
Based on our discussion and further changes rather than table it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Because I don't think we have, 2 weeks is not enough time for us to adequately look at.
Absolutely.
If there should be anywhere, and if so, where and how, and what would it entail, and what's the speed limit, maybe in one area as opposed to another area.
Yeah.
So.
Good point.
We still have it on the table for discussion, so we can all put in our input,
Yeah.
but if we could do that instead.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
could have went either way, postpone or do that, but we will accept the Mayor Pro Tem's strategy. We will refer that back.
Madam Mayor.
I think she wanted some discussion, correct?
You want discussion?
Before we take.
Yeah, I think it'd be very difficult to refer back to administration without some further input from all of us as well. Councilmember Mosrek brought it up. Several of you said a lot of the same things we've all been thinking about and talking about. It's not necessarily that this is not a good idea. I think none of us are ready to say that we need an ordinance that is citywide. I think we need to be looking at this more by area, by street, by downtown, by Thomas Edison Parkway. And so for me, I know the state law says you're supposed to ride a bike on the road. I agree. It's not safe. I do not ride with traffic. If I ride a bike on the road, I ride against traffic because I too want to see if a car is coming at me. I don't follow those rules either. So to sit up here and make those rules without having more information is very difficult. So on my part of this, referring it back, I'll let everybody else have their 2 cents, but I think we really need to break this down and maybe have administration look at, maybe we bring it back at a sector at a time, and we look at maybe downtown first. I know we've had downtown businesses asking us, begging us to take e-bikes off the downtown streets. It's very difficult with the stores opening and closing all the time and all of the moving traffic. So that would be my proposal, would be that we not only refer it back, but let's bring it back in pieces and build it section at a time as opposed to an entire ordinance at once. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, Chair recognizes the manager.
This introduction of this ordinance did exactly what I hoped it would do. It encouraged and ignited a discussion, a larger discussion that needs to happen on bike safety, pedestrian safety, whether it be downtown or on the boardwalks or anywhere in the city. A broader discussion. I have received significant communications from residents, people I don't often hear from, which is really nice to get an email from them. That feedback is critically important. This ordinance is clearly not ripe for adoption. It needs to be changed. But I also think there needs to be conversations on safety elsewhere, not just with e-bikes, but bike safety and pedestrian safety in general in certain areas of the city. Statistically, we've worked with SEMCOG and identified some dangerous stretches of roadway within our city that there needs to be some work on, some design changes on. We want to continue working with regional partners and experts who can advise on that. But I think the Mayor Pro Tem is very much right that this should be referred back for further deliberation. But in the meantime, I am going to direct our engineering department to begin a round of community engagement sessions on pedestrian and bike safety in different areas of the city, because the needs in one neighborhood may not be the needs in a different neighborhood, or the needs of downtown may be very different than the needs of South Park or Uptown. And so we want to hold engagement sessions to hear from residents on what areas of their community they'd like to see some changes in. I'd like to bring some outside experts in this, who are pedestrian and bike experts from SEMCOG, who are regional experts, to bring in their expertise to hear your concerns and then advise us on some possible solutions going forward. So this did what we hoped it would do, start a broader discussion. And I think throughout the summertime, we can really turn this into some larger policy initiatives about this issue that is so important to so many of you for different needs and different abilities around the city. So that's my hope, and I will take that direction if the council directs me to do that.
Madam Mayor, if I may. I think to James' point, we did get a lot of calls and communication on this one. I think some of the wording of ban, electric bikes stirred up some enthusiasm, let's just say. So, it's not a ban, but guardrails. And I think there's been a lot of public comment, just not tonight, but other nights, about biker concerns, all of that. So I do really like the idea of taking a look at all of it. Electric bikes haven't been around forever. Might be some unique rules for them, but there's no ban. It's just figuring out those details.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, Mayor Ashford, just a couple, I just echo everything that's been said. I've heard from more residents about this than maybe chickens, and then maybe even marijuana, which, I mean, those are two big topics. But I've heard from a lot of people, both, and on both sides, absolute, like, yes, it's about time, ban e-bikes everywhere, and then, like, my brother asked me at Mother's Day if I was just wanted him to die on his e-bike in the road. So, everybody from every side of the spectrum. I do think, one consistent thing, and Mayor Pro Tem Archibald mentioned this, but, I do wonder if it's worth looking at something for specifically the downtown corridor, maybe, on the main street there. Again, I'm not saying I have the answer on exactly what that should look like, but as we refer back to you and the team, Mr. Freed, that, I think what's unfortunate is the vast majority of folks riding their bikes, riding their e-bikes, whatever, do it as a good neighbor and, and aren't blowing by people, but there are those that do, and, and are almost take people out at doorways. And so, and like you said, the downtown businesses and even downtown business visitors have all complained about that for years now. So I do wonder if it's worth looking at something there, but I fully support the idea of referring this back and taking a little more time to broaden the discussion. And I like the approach you're taking as far as getting some experts to look at what really the needs are.
All set? Okay, so we'll take a roll call on referring this back to management.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Okay, item number L is our non-residents' public comments.
We have no non-residents
We
today.
have no non-residents, okay. So we have announcements. Our first announcement is city offices will be closed on Monday, May the 25th, in observance of Memorial Day. And the next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday, May 26th. Announcement number 2, the city's beautification commission is in need of volunteers to assist with preparing various flower beds for the season on Saturday, May 16th. Meet in front of Kiefer Park at 9 a.m. if anyone is interested. So if you're at home and you're listening and you want to, help beautify our city, again, you can meet Saturday, May the 16th in front of Kiefer Park over here at 9 a.m. if you are interested. And that also is a special invitation to anybody here in the council chambers and also up here on the dais. If you feel like you don't have anything to do, 9 o'clock, May the 16th. And that will do it. Does anybody have anything? Oh, and the boat. Okay.
Boat. We got it. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a reminder, after 9 o'clock, at that event, we also are going to have the Black River cleanup from 10 to 3 o'clock. I really do want to call out, though, a lot of people donate their time, but also East Coast Marine Service out of Port Huron also has a business on the river, is donating their equipment and their time. Also, Wolick and Weldon Marine out of St. Clair is also donating their time and equipment. We even got the United States Border Patrol out of Marysville's gonna send some resources. This all started with the boat club, the Black River Boat Club, but I just, the township's involved, the city's involved. I just want to say it's a great event. It's supposed to be in the 70s. There's a lot of passion for the Black River. I think what people say, and if you see it on social media, this is a good way, whatever way you feel, to kind of help on out. So just reminder, the details is May 16th, 10 to 3. You don't have to stay the whole time, so you could do one event, come back for the latter half. Meet at Riverside Boat Launch or Bakersfield at 10 a.m. Anyone with a boat, dinghy, kayak that wants to come, just come on down. And then from 3 to 6 at Can Marina, we are going to have Ian Smith for a little bit of music. So it's going to be a great day. Come on out if you're able, and we'll have a good time. Thank you.
Kudos to you, because you've had your heart in this, a lot of years, putting that up, and then I know James and city management really supported you, so, and as much as we want you on dry land, we need you out there protecting our waterways also. So it's too, if you don't want to deal with the water, I'm thinking myself, if I have to get out.
If you're there, we got a boat for you.
Yeah. So we have it all here for you. Just gotta take advantage. Just step on out,
And you can practice your wave like in the float for June, so we'll be good.
No, wait a minute. Don't put me Okay. So with that, everybody.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes, sir.
If I could, a huge thank you and a shout out to our DDA director, Lisa DeLong, and all of her crew for a very successful opening day of the farmer's market. If anybody was down there, it was packed. She did a fantastic job. And then their tireless hours, I've seen Lisa on her hands and knees planting flowers for the last 2 weeks throughout downtown. So just a big thank you to her and how much she's appreciated for doing what she does. So.
Thank you for mentioning that. And we have some beautification people here out in front. We have my sister Carolyn, and we have Aaron out there. He's working away. I see all the effort she put down in the South End, and that's good. This is our city, and we ought to love it. Be the welcoming city that we could be. We have issues. Who doesn't? But keep it at home indoors. But when you come out, let's all be one and united, and all for Port Huron. That's one thing someone told me. I was walking along the boardwalk, and she was saying that, a welcoming town, it's not so much the buildings and the floats or whatever, but it's you. It's you that makes the difference. I don't care who you are, how much money you got, you can make a difference. If you're not satisfied with something, do something about it and then get over it. Because we still got a city that we're trying to attract people, we're trying to get people to live here, and nobody's going to live here if we looking at them like they don't belong. So each of you belong. Each of you are special. Care about each and every one of you out here. So we just got to get it together and be the Port Huron that we know we can be.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Just real quick to piggyback off what Bob said. I had a meeting this past week. Some may find it interesting. I had a meeting with the USDA, a team of architects and engineers from the USDA. I was expecting, I've worked with the USDA now for 18 years as a city manager, and normally it's a stuffy old people meeting, but I actually got on this call, Zoom call, Teams meeting, and it was a bunch of young architects, and they, for absolutely free, are working with our community and our DDA and our farmers market to design and provide architectural drawings for a more permanent farmers market structure. That normally is about $100,000 in engineering and design costs they're going to do for free for us. That will allow us to use those design and specifications to go seek grant funding and additional funding. But I love the tents. I love our farmers market. We've all been to other communities where they have a much more permanent structure. I think the farmers market here has had proof of concept enough. Many may not know this, but we are the third busiest farmers market in the state of Michigan for the use of bridge card and SNAP benefits. Think about that. Of all the cities in Michigan, we're actually like the 33rd largest city, but yet we're number 3 on the use of our bridge card and SNAP benefits for our farmers market. The health department just moved downtown. They are intentionally coordinating their WIC days with our farmers market days, so those users can use both the WIC benefits and the farmers market benefits. So I think our community has proven that we like our fresh fruit and our fresh produce, especially the senior bonus days and whatnot. So the USDA, over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, will work with their design team and our local stakeholders to design us some renderings and drawings that we can use to get additional support. But I do think it's time to start looking at the long-term home for a farmer's market, although I appreciate the tents.
Okay, there you go. People, changing lives. That's what it's all about. So with that, you ready to go home, guys? Yes. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. So moved.